Hello and welcome to another episode of SoFly. Here we go, baby.
Whoa!
This is going to be hot off the press because it's October 30th. Tomorrow's Halloween. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All these sound effects. It's 7:10 p.m. I just drove back from Toronto. I moved back to Ottawa. The job is done. And you've been packing all day because you're moving
Packing
tomorrow.
Everything's me and Mitch are SoFly listener sphere, or if you're watching on YouTube, we're all discombobulated here.
Everything's
Mitch is moving to Ottawa. He's moved to Ottawa. He's currently in Ottawa.
Yeah.
I'm moving into Mitch's old place, which is above Adis's unit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move. Now me and Adis will be the fortress of fly fishing solitude.
And
we've got some plans, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Idis is in Quebec right now.
Yeah, everything's all over the place.
Photographing some mines. I don't know what's going on, guys.
It's crazy.
But we're happy to be here because it's a Halloween episode. Sort of, not really at all.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just that it's coming out
on Halloween, but it's not like our traditional spooky SoFlies where we do stories. We're actually going to recount a musky fishing weekend we had here in the Ottawa Valley, Ottawa area, like a week or two ago.
Musky are scary.
Musky are scary. They're
if
very
you're a
scary
perch,
fish.
There's nothing scarier than a musky.
No. And so we're gonna dive into that, and we're gonna talk about what we experienced fishing musky 2 days, 10, 12-hour days on a boat in Musky Town. And maybe we'll share some tips, some things we learned, and a couple of fishy stories along the way. But before we get into that, let's talk about community news. First off, Ottawa Fly Fisher Society. Nothing really going on right now as far as we know. I would say a good idea is to check in with the club. If you remember, you probably have the inside details. We do know that this upcoming Tuesday, I'm pretty sure we've got the insider.
That'd be November 4th.
It'll be the 4th of November. May November 4th be with you. That doesn't make any sense. That's it. Nick Roman's doing a little chit chat with the club. We know that because he's coming down this weekend to go fishing on the same rivers we were just fishing for muskie. So
are you gonna hang out, have a beer?
Yeah, I mean, if he's around,
I'm putting you on the
Tuesday,
spot.
I should. No, I'd love to. I wanted to go fishing with him, but I gotta work. Like I totally play hook. Don't tell him I work, sorry there. But I'm not playing hooky, so I guess it doesn't matter. It's like the busiest. It's turned into the busiest time of my life at work. So I'd love to, but yeah, maybe I'll grab a pint with him for sure. That'd be sick. But he's going to be doing a talk, and if you're part of the Ottawa Fly Fisher Society and you're listening to this before November 4th and you haven't heard anything about it, check your email because you might have a little deets about Nick Roman doing a chat, and you don't want to miss that because he's one of Ontario's best anglers, one of the best in Canada. I would even say maybe the world. And you could take that one to the bank. What's going on in Southern Ontario?
Well, it's raining right now. So, I think steelhead is on migratory Great Lakes steelhead is on everybody's mind.
Yeah,
I think muskie's on fall muskie's on everybody's mind. So I think this is a timely episode.
I think so.
I was just looking at Drift's website. Everything is sold out. So I'm not even going to bring it up.
Nice.
The Nottawasaga is talking about steelhead. I was trying to get to a segue here. Nottawasaga Steelheaders on Facebook. They're not just a Facebook group. I just mean their information is stored on Facebook. So if you still have Facebook, which I do, for this very reason, is to keep track on clubs like this. The day this podcast comes out, November 1st, Saturday, November 1st, there is a reforesting of the Mad River, which, of course, is a tributary of the Nottawasaga. Mm-hmm. Saturday, November 1st, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Nice.
So if you go to the Nottawasaga Steelheaders on Facebook, you can find info there. Or if you go to the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority, because they're the ones that are hosting this, they're reforesting and improving habitat for an important tributary of the Nottawasaga. But of course, it doesn't just help the Nottawasaga; it helps the Mad River, and the Mad River, if you've never been on it, is beautiful. Even if you don't fish, if you've ever driven through Collingwood, Creemore, if you've ever gone to the brewery there, the Mad and the Noisy River, meander through Creemore. It's really, really beautiful part of the province.
Oh, that's where the
Um,
oh, that's what the river that goes through Creamore is one of those Mad. It's a very cool name for a river. I always thought Mad River was a really cool name.
wow.
This river's so mad.
Yeah,
Is
but
it
it's an
mad like
important.
angry or is it crazy? I don't know. It's a great thing to do. Go do it. Tree planting is always fun. I mean, I've done it once, and I will say that one day that I did do it, I felt great, and it was a lot of fun, and I would like to do it again. And you know what? That's gonna be my New Year's resolution. We'll
Is
talk more
plant
about that
trees
in a couple of shows when we have the wrap up thing,
the resolution
the
episode.
resolution episode.
But again, I'll say if you've got a community, if you're listening to this and you
Yeah,
guys want us to talk about your community events, it doesn't necessarily have to be in Ontario. Of course, we talk about Ontario because we're from here.
yeah.
Could be anywhere across the country or in the US or around the world. Info at sofly.ca or DM us on Instagram or YouTube, whatever. One thing I will say as an aside,
Oh,
our summer partnership with Muskoka
inbound.
Brewery is coming to an end.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to
Yeah.
Kira and the whole team at Muskoka. It's been many, many years working with them off and on, and 2 years in a row to have their support in the summer. And, this spring summer kicked off with that awesome day at the brewery with, of course, Jim Baird.
Mhm.
And I'm drinking Jim
The
Baird's
windbound.
Windbound smoked Pilsner right now. It was a really fun day where we got to,
It's great beer.
meet one of our, meet a great adventure and, inspirations.
He was a
He's an
fabulous fellow.
inspiration.
It was a
Yeah.
great podcast. Go
Yeah.
listen to it if you haven't. If you have, thanks.
So we just want to say a big thanks to, a big shout out to Muskoka Brewery for all the support. And, a couple months later, this beer is still tasting pretty good.
Shout out to Muskoke. Yeah, you guys are great. Your beer is awesome. We love you. We
Thank
love
you.
you. Okay, should we get into the main part of the show now? What do you
Big
think?
time.
Yeah? Okay, well, let's talk about musky fishing in the Ottawa region after these words. Well, let's just say the leaves are starting to change and the moons are starting to get very spooky. And
Ooh.
let's just say
I don't know
that
what's going
the
on.
muskies are getting frisky. They're coming out to eat and they're doing lots of eating. And this is the time of year where things get cold. Ooh, it's cold and scary, and the muskie are out. And so, what did we do? We decided to hop in the old car. We jumped in the old SoFly caravan. We skedaddled across Ontario, headed east, and we fished
Pew.
the wonderful rivers of the Ottawa region because they're packed chock full of muskie.
Yeah, I mean, this was a homecoming for you and I,
Yeah,
in a way. I mean, for you, truly, because you moved there.
yeah, yeah.
Like you went
This was
back.
my first fishing trip in Ottawa in a
Hmm.
while, and yeah, I just moved back, today, and back then I was moving some stuff. So yeah, it was cool. But we got to me and you met up and had a couple beers and kind of walked around Ottawa, and we're like, oh yeah, it's always nostalgic coming to Ottawa. We've lived in Toronto a
Very
long
much
time.
so.
You've
I
lived
think
there
especially in
quite a
the
long
fall
time.
too, it's like it's a very
Yeah,
nostalgic time because, you remember your childhood, and fall, of course, is pretty tied to school and all those kind of feelings, and,
totally.
being a kid in Ottawa, and you're you come in through Highway 7 on for this trip. I don't know why. I took the 401, which of
Mhm,
course takes you to the 416,
mhm.
407, whatever, and you drive over the Rideau River, and you drive over the Jock, and you drive over, you see the Ottawa River, and it's like, oh, these are all the places I used to fish.
Yeah,
But I used to fish them not for muskie. We were all very aware of muskie, it's definitely what the gear, you know, folks did. Fly
yeah.
fishing for muskie was not what it is today. Um, and man, I really wish I was into muskie a little bit more because holy shit, what a great time we had.
Yeah, yeah, it's an amazing fishery, and I think it's Ottawa's really known for its muskie fishing, and fly fishing is a fun way to chase muskie. It's a more challenging way to fish muskie. I mean, it's a more challenging way to fish, period. But muskie, they're known as the fish of 10 billion casts, and so when you're doing it on a fly rod, it's like added challenge. But we are going to get into 2 days of wonderful muskie fishing. We were out on a couple iconic Ottawa rivers. I mean, there's two huge ones here in the Ottawa River, the Rideau River. There's a few big rivers here that you can fish for multitude of species, but yeah, we were focusing on two different rivers for muskie. And we were fishing with Courage, Josh from Courage, who's a muskie angler and guide here in the Ottawa area. And also a couple other wonderful, splendid fellows joined us. Braden
Mm-hmm.
and Kevin. Braden is a muskie angler here in the Ottawa area, and he's a really, really cool dude. And Kevin is an angler here as well, and he's been chasing muskie for the last couple of years. And you'll hear about a fun little thing Kevin got into in the 2 days. But yeah, why don't we get into the first day?
Totally. I just one quick note. Josh was on the show previously.
Yes.
Episode 180. That episode is a deep dive into the Ottawa region.
Yes.
The fishery.
Yep.
How Josh has learned and targeted about. Sorry, that episode's about targeting specifically muskie in the let's say capital city Musky.
Yeah.
So if you want to deep dive into gear and strategy and a little bit about Josh's life, I would say go to 180 because this episode is going to be about our trip and our experiences on that trip. Yes, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about how we were targeting these fish, but if you really want to get into Ottawa Valley fly fishing
stuff,
for muskie and Josh's business and Josh as a person, just go to episode 180.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And we're not going to be like spitting spots or anything like that, really. But we're going to talk about the 2 days we had because I think every time we go out muskie fishing, we learn quite a bit, and I think this was no different. And it was pretty. It was a pretty active 2 days, I will say. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's not exactly what I expect when I'm talking about like when I'm thinking about going muskie fishing. At least from what everybody's always said to me about muskie fishing. It's a classic, like almost like swinging steelhead. It's like on a river that's maybe like needs some rain. It's like it's going to be a lot of casting. It's going to be a lot of waiting, and you're probably not going to see a fish, let alone catch a fish. So I'm like, okay, so you're not really expecting much, but this first day, and we'll go through it, more deets, but this first day was like pretty wild in terms of like fish activity.
No,
And I'm talking like
100%.
follows, like we saw a lot of muskie. It was like, oh dang, there's a lot of fish in this river. Just as an overview before we get into the nitty grits, my biggest takeaway was like, there's a lot of
The
muskie.
population
Yeah.
is wild. Like it was like when we were, I mean, it's not like when we were in Montana for fishing for trout, but like when we were on the Missouri floating over all these fish, I was like, wow, the fish population is crazy comparatively to, our rivers here. And I would say, coming from fishing around these parts in Southern Ontario to, getting back to fishing the Ottawa Valley, it was an incredible amount of encounters.
It was wild. I was like, wow, there's, what it was really confidence building for me?
Interactions. I don't know.
Oh, all the above. It was very confidence building for me because I was like, wow, there's a lot of like the populations are, and that's just the first day was just one river we were on, obviously one section of one river. I'm like, man, there's a lot of fish here. And this is a place that I used to go a lot when I was a kid because my family actually had a boat in that marina nearby. And so like, and I remember when I was a kid, getting into fishing and all that, one of the guys that worked at the marina was like, he told the story about a muskie eating a duck off the surface of the river. He's like, yeah, I was here one day just pumping gas and a muskie just like a duck just got sucked under, and I was always like, wow, crazy. One day I saw it happen on a different river in Ottawa. And then now that I saw those fish that day, I'm like, I'm surprised it's not happening constantly. There's so many muskie in the river. No bird is safe, dude.
Do not, if you're a duckling listening to this, stay away from Ottawa.
Like, or find a little cute pond or something. I don't know. Someone's backyard. But yeah, okay, so let's get into like the day and what the plan was.
Well, it was fun. It was driving up. It was a weekend trip. It was going to be a Friday. For me, I was going to come in on town on Friday and leave the Monday. And actually, Josh was kind enough to put me up at his place, and we drove in. You and I met up. Yep. We actually, it was kind of fun. We're going to put out a YouTube video about this, probably a week from releasing this podcast, and we went to the sites of our old fly fishing shops that we used to work at. And, so to really ramp up the nostalgia. We had a beer downtown near the Parliament buildings, and it was like, we're back, baby. And then Josh lives in the East End, and I gotta say, he's the tidiest guide I've ever met in my life.
Mhm.
Like
Definitely.
his house is organized.
Yeah. Yeah. All the lures are all nicely placed in his garage, he's got
His
a
fl-
good.
his fly tying bench is like
Yeah.
spotless. His truck is like
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah. Amazing.
Like, have you
I
ever
love
seen
that.
a guide's truck clean?
No, it's usually jam-packed full of half-broken rods
Shit.
and, so yeah. Cigarette butts, Timmy's cups.
That's what my truck looks like in the season. So like
Yeah.
a guide's truck is crazy, and
Yeah.
yeah, just seeing like how organized he was, and all the
Yeah.
gear, like he had not not just fly tackle but conventional tackle. Like it
His
was
wall of
cool.
baits, yeah.
But
Very
yeah, as
cool.
you mentioned, Kevin and Braden. Kevin came over that night, and we were all shooting the shit and getting
Eating
excited for the
shawarma.
next couple of days, eating shawarma, and yeah, kind of what was going through your head at this point. Like, what were you like? Obviously, we're excited, but what were you thinking?
Yeah, I was just curious what the plan was, like where we were gonna go, because like, big part of this weekend was kind of, like you say, I'm just getting reacquainted with the fishing spots here and getting to fish with people that do it. I've been doing it for a while. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like a nice little research mish, you know, kind of dig into like the best spots and where I could go and what I can fish for and all that stuff. So I was excited to see what the plan was. That's all it was, really.
And it's been
Um,
a musky kind of year for you, from filming Musky Man to
I know it feels like
your
forever ago.
triumphant 40-incher in Georgian
Yeah.
Bay, and
Hmm.
um, it's great. Like, we talked a lot about muskie last fall without really fishing for them that much, and this year we've been out for them a bunch, which feels
I
great.
got hooked on the muskers for sure. I'm loving the muskers. Uh, yeah, like just like seeing them in the doing musky man and seeing those big fish night in December last year, and then yeah, catching that fish this year, and then this day, yeah, I'm hooked on them. So it was fun to go out and actually chase them in Ottawa. So yeah, like that next day, we met up at the boat launch, and of course that's where we met Braden. And Braden's a great dude. So he's a local Ottawa angler. He's a listener so fly too. We kind of met him through the show, and of course he knows Josh and like everybody. Fly community in Ottawa's not huge. I mean, everywhere, everybody kind of knows everybody if you fly fish, even Southern Ontario or anywhere else. But so, everybody kind of knows everybody, but it was our first time meeting him. He's got a pretty cool boat, nice setup. So, we all made the connection. Then Kevin went with Braden, we went with Josh, launched. What kind of gear were we using? I was using my big game. I had an 11-weight rod, and these really nice sinking lines, musky sinking lines specifically, right? What makes them musky specific?
Um,
Because they're just sinking lines.
I mean, yeah, these are I mean, everybody knows that we're on old Team Farbank, but it's no secret that we're big fans of the Scientific Anglers Sonar sinking fly line. The reason being, currently, and I say currently because Rio actually sent us some prototype musky lines.
Yeah,
Um, Currently, they're Predator lines, which are pretty good. The Sink 5 Predator lines, Rios, I'm talking about.
yeah.
They can't sink a big ass fly. They just can't. They can't do it. Um, we've been told this by the Rio team. I'm not just I'm not being a hater.
We're using flies that are like 8 to 12 inches long, full of fur and feathers, and musky
It's like
flies are huge.
half a friggin' chicken that you're trying to sink
They're
half the
huge.
time.
They're huge flies.
And most of the time, in fact, I would have to argue almost 99% of the time, these flies aren't weighted. So you're really relying on the line to get your fly in the water.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want them to be weighted using, or like, they'll hover like, a Buford kind of hovers. And you really are really dependent on the efficacy of the sinking line. So
Mhm.
the cool thing about the Gen 2 Sonar Musky line, in my opinion, is that not only does it have this like amazing Sync 5 head, but you can really dial in the grain weight,
Yeah.
because there's like they have a 350, which is like kind of for 9 and 10 rods, a 400, which is like in the 10 to 12 range, a 450 grain for the 11 13s, and a 500
Yeah.
grain in the 11 to 13. That's what the one I got.
Yeah. The 500.
The 500 grain, because like you said, Josh and Jordan and most people we talk to, can a 10 weight, land a
Yeah.
muskie, 100%. Can 11 weight land one quicker? Yes. So that's better, right? Like everything you've learned over the years, like most musky anglers are really hyper fixated on fish health.
100%. I mean, these fish are like, it's funny, they're big fish, but they're quite actually fragile from what we've learned. And I think, yeah, I had the 11 weight rod, but I was also fishing a 10 weight, and I had that
Oh, that
line
10
on
weight's
that
like an
10 weight.
11 weight though.
It's like an 11 weight. It's a heavy rod. So yeah, that's very, very true. The 11 weight's more like a friggin'.
You got a 490 grain.
I'd say
10
the 11,
weight.
the 11 weight's more like a 40.
Like yeah, it's like a 14. You're gonna handle the tuna.
Totally. So yeah, that like 10/11 weight, and then this sonar line, which is yeah, I mean, it's just kind of really nice to cast, and just the setup was great, and it was nice because I would say maybe one tip that I did get from Josh, which I actually really liked, was using a lighter reel. You're casting these big flies all day, heavy rods, heavy lines, big flies. Make it easy on yourself, and I think like getting a big heavy reel isn't necessarily, you don't really need it, especially in like the case of a lot of these eats are really close to the boat. The fish get tired pretty quickly. You can get them in fairly simply. You don't need this like super intense reel to do it. And like an 8 weight reel's got a great drag, so it's like you could potentially use an 8 weight, 9 weight reel that's lighter, and then just use that on your 10 or 11 weight rod and kind of save yourself a little bit of strain in the arm, because after 2 days, brother, I was feeling it.
You're feeling it. Yeah, I mean, like it was a great point I never thought of. Obviously you're trying to balance big rods with bigger reels, depending on the weight of them, or brand you get. But I thought it was interesting. Yeah, like you're not really putting these things on the reel if you do get one.
No.
Unless it puts you on the reel, and even so, you're not going to need like 200 yards of backing.
And
So
you're not really
like,
it's like cast, like the whole balance thing, like you're not really casting, like it's not a delicate fly fishing
no, I know.
method, you know what I mean?
No, it's
It's
not.
more of like a lob and duck, and like kind of like you're like throwing these heavy shit around. And so I like the idea of like make it easier, light, beautiful, because you're casting, the casts are not pretty.
And you're tipped down in the water anyway, like
Yep,
as you're
down in the
stripping
water.
in. So it's like
Totally.
it makes a lot of sense to have a lighter
Yeah.
reel. I thought that was an interesting point. To in that vein, like it was funny. It was interesting. We were kind of comparing between our Grandes and the Reddington, of course, or sorry, Grande and the Behemoth from Reddington, which of course Behemoths are cast aluminum. Grandes are machined. The Grandes are heavier, more durable, but they are heavier. So it's just like kind of interesting using the two, it's like comparison side by side kind of thing.
Yeah, you could
But
really,
yeah,
you could really like, like dial in setups with this type of thing with Musky. I mean, like anything, but like Musky especially, because it's like I said, you're casting a lot, and it's like long days, So it's like getting the technical feel of a setup right is like pretty crucial, you know.
it's mega cruise, bro.
Yeah, so it's like I think that was a big thing, but setups were good. It's not rocket science with musky fishing in terms of like beyond all these like dialing in the little specifications, so it's the most comfortable it possibly can be. Using heavier rods is good, and then big ass flies. And we had some flies from Fritz Miller, who we had on the show. Fritz is a New Jersey musky angler, and I love this flies, dude. I actually went home and bought some off of him. I messaged him and I bought
Did you get some?
Yeah, they're in the mail because they're
amazing.
I just love the way he
he's such a
ties,
talented tyer. He's really is. I mean, we met him in Denver while he was doing a fly tying showcase.
Yeah,
like we were like, and we walked by the table and we were like, "Whoa, look at these pike and musky flies! They're sick.
They're so cool.
I mean, he's been on the show.
So good. Yeah, they look so good in the water. I was fishing like this big sucker pattern from them. It was just like just straight bucktail, tied up in that sort of giant minnow shape, sucker shape. Browns and whites, and it just looked alive in the water. But I mean, all of these flies, we had some Bufords going, tried and trues, some imposters, which we'll talk about later, that maybe that you like. We'll get to that. But so we go out fishing, and how did the day start? What was the first thing we noticed? I mean, right away.
I will say last thing about the setup thing with the flies, just because you mentioned like we had Buford, like Josh obviously had all of his flies too. I really liked how Josh. I mean, you're seeing this more and more if you follow Blaine Chocolate, obviously, or like Musky Fool, or Schultz Outfitters. Those guys do a lot of warm water fishing with really really big flies. They've got this really great system where they've got a gearbox, or sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's not. Josh's isn't. It doesn't really matter. Kind of like Yeti's loadout boxes or like a big ammo box.
Mhm. With the
They
wire,
hang wire. Uh, you open the lid, they're hanging wire like a clothesline,
like rows. Yeah,
with little hooks on a row, and then you're hooking your flies in there so that they drip dry
and they don't get squished in the
and they don't get
box.
squashed.
Yeah,
It's
because
just such a smart way to store flies. I think like if you're gonna really get into muskying, shit, man, I might even do it for my pike flies. I have so many pike flies. That was the only problem.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that's true. You kind
I,
of
like,
typically have less musky flies, big, Yeah, Jordan had that too. Jordan's setup was cool. He had like a clear tote, and he had just like Jerry rigged it like with the wire, and he's got a lot of musky flies. It is a really cool way to do it. I really like that. Like, yeah, fly
yeah, whether
storage.
you buying flies from a talented tyer like Fritz,
Yeah,
or you're tying them yourself, like the
keep
lot goes
them.
into these flies. Like you
Yeah,
don't want those hooks to rust or like things to get moldy or like
they're
shitty.
expensive flies, dude.
Yeah.
They're pricey, and the material, yeah, like it's a lot of cashola for those flies. Yeah, it was a very cool box. I think that's a cool way to store them for sure.
And then obviously leaders is,
Yeah,
steel leaders.
steel eaters. Yeah,
Steel or titanium. SA makes those titanium ones.
yep.
And the butt sections of our leaders were, I think I had 60,
Six,
60,
60 or 50. Yeah,
50.
yeah, something
Short
like that.
leaders, obviously, we're trying to turn these flies over.
Yeah, and constantly every time you cast out, you strip right to the boat. You get a bunch of leader up. You only have maybe about 6 inches of leader material from the tip of your rod to the fly, and you do figure eights pretty much every time. As we learned that, yeah, like you will sometimes that's when you'll see the fish. They'll come from under the boat. It's like, oh shit, like, which is really exciting. But we launched the boats. We went in, and pretty much right away we started fishing, and Kevin and Braden had to follow right away.
Yeah.
Right away. And
Right
I was
away.
like, okay, that's
That kind of set
good.
the tone for the day.
I'm like, well, there's muskie here, so maybe we kept fishing, and the next few hours were really just like, unless I miss anything specific, because I have a bad memory, as you know, but like as far
Mm.
as I remember, the next few hours were like every, maybe 30, 40 minutes, we get a follow from like a decent fish, either a 35. Some cases we saw like a couple, probably 40s, some big looking
Mm.
muskies in the water. And
Mm.
they pretty much all followed to the boat on the figure eight. They'd follow for a bit and then usually just get disinterested and kind of swim off on one of the turns of the fly. I think we were figure eighting well. I didn't see any moments where the fish were like, no. And that's probably where, you were like, maybe if we downsize the fly, probably a good idea to try. Why not? Definitely by the end of the day. It's kind of hard. It's hard for me to do that though, because it's like, but what if the next one is the one that works? You know what I mean? It's
Commits.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, maybe the next one
I
wants a
mean,
big
it's funny,
fly.
right? Like you know, um, we've been in scenarios like your Georgian Bay Muskie where we just went back to the same fish with the
Yeah.
same fly, and then it
committed.
it ate once with no hook on the tail,
Yeah.
and then it ate again. So it's like, okay, well, this fish wants to eat this fly.
Third
So
time
why would we change it?
Yeah.
Whereas when we were out with Jordan that one time, and Adis was getting a follow.
Yeah.
Then he got another follow, same fish because we didn't move. We like anchored the boat. And then Jordan's like, "Well, let's put a smaller fly on. I think
Just try it. Why not?
that'll do the trick." And sure enough, it did because he's like,
Mhm.
"There aren't big things in this river. They're eating small things."
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
big thing got its interest and
But there are
got it
big
all.
things in the river we were fishing, but I still
That's the
think it
thing, right?
probably would
So
have hit that little thing, like maybe, who knows? I think it's just like a good case to like try it. So it's like, we go out musky fish with these huge flies, but like in a case like that, maybe if you had a fish follow like that, maybe just quickly toss on something like an imposter, which is a smaller fly, still pretty big, more like a pike streamer, 6 inches, not 40. And cast that out and try it, because maybe why not? One cast, why not?
yeah, I mean, like we've
Because
been
so often you just leave anyways, right? You're like, the fish didn't want it. Let's go try a different spot. It's like, well,
totally. Yeah, that's kind of what we were doing, right? Like we're in these, we're in big motorboats, big beautiful What does he
Motorboats.
have? Starcraft? Princecraft?
I think he's got a Princecraft. Yeah.
Yeah, Princecraft. We're
Yeah.
zipping around. Like, doesn't take long to zip between spots. And
No.
we were kind of spot hopping. And pretty much every spot we went to, we had at least an encounter, like some sort of follow or some sort of activity, which was like, and, Braden would be
Crazy.
texting us from the other boat. And he's like, oh, we just got 2 other follows. Like,
It was crazy.
We were like, by lunchtime,
Yeah. We were at like a dozen
we were
follows.
like a dozen follows between the 2 boats, which of course,
It was wild.
it's wild. Like,
So much
anybody who
activity.
musky fishes, maybe if you don't musky fish, you're like, wow, you saw 12 fish and didn't catch a single one. Are you guys
Well, that's kind of where,
crazy?
that's
It's
where
like-
I'm scratching my head. I'm like, why did we see 12, and I think maybe there's just something to do with the musky and the weather and whatever, not committing. I don't know. It's a bit strange for sure, but, seeing that many fish is pretty wild.
Yeah, I think, like I'm so hyper confident with pike, and I know
Yeah.
they behave so much differently than musky, and they eat so much differently than musky. I just have to read more about musky and like.
I mean, if we had 17 follows from pike, we would have 17 fish.
I know, probably.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like they're pretty much always it. Yeah, so it's interesting why, and I think the guys were saying, like, yeah, it's weird. They're finicky fish, and I think maybe it's one of those things where it's like, weather patterns can kind of turn them off. Like we were in all kinds of, there was a big warm front that came through the next day and a bunch of rain and stuff. So maybe the changing weather patterns, but I feel like, there's maybe things to try there. And I think next time what I would do is I would just try doing a smaller fly, see what happens, changing that up. And maybe that's the ticket, but I don't know. It was a beautiful day though. Like it was so nice being out in the fall, man. I love fishing in the fall. Like there's just like the leaves are changing.
Yeah.
The air is crisp, you got a jacket on, you're drinking coffee. You're casting these big flies. The water's cold. It's the best time of year to fish. Like it really is. I think fall's my favorite season in life, and for fishing, I would have to say I think it's probably my favorite. In spring, like a couple weeks in spring, but fall is it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a soft spot for the fancy freeness of summer, but if summer could continue to be nuclear, which of course, why wouldn't it?
It's looking like that's the way it's going.
Definitely, autumn is. I mean, how can you replace the magic of autumn? Like,
and autumn too. Like what a nice word.
It could have died. Autumn. The leaves could have died.
I am an autumn.
I am an autumn. Leaves could have chosen any way to die, but they go out in this blaze of glory.
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah, what a nice way to think about it.
What a lovely way to to have that. It's again, this trip was all very nostalgic. You and I had never fished in Ottawa before, but we're from Ottawa.
Yeah.
We're back on this like.
Yeah, have we not fished in Ottawa before this together? No, we haven't.
I meant like in our youth.
I don't even think like we have in general. Like outside Ottawa, yeah, but
yeah, we took the BGOW crew.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But
teaching casting.
We weren't like so it's just like it was like kind of our first time fishing together.
Yeah,
it was just like with this place where like fly fishing came into our lives, and we never really fished muskie there before. We were on these rivers that we were on all the time fishing for bass. Well, little did we know. Well, we knew there were muskie in there, but like little did we know how many and how to target them. And it's cool because I think this is like, we brought this up last year when we had muskie shows, and we're like, oh, I think next year we're really going to get after it, and we kind of have, and we're just starting to wrap our brains around muskie,
get into it
ourselves, and like going out fishing on our own and trying to, if you look at Adis, he's like tying like a madman, trying to figure out what works or what doesn't. We're trying to dial in our rods and our lines and our gear to see what works for us, and
those paddle tails work. I'll tell you right now. There's
big time.
What do they call? What's the brand again? They're
Paccarini
paddle tails, and I really like the ones that are just like a big solid C. There's no like cuts and nicks. I mean, those are cool, but like the big solid C one. Oh my god, dude! The thing looks like battery powered in the water.
It looks insane.
Like
a
little
in the water.
Propeller going, and so there's a tip.
This is more, time. There's nothing replaces time on the water, so it's just like getting time on the water.
Exactly.
We're so lucky to get to spend time with people that, really dial into a certain fishery. We definitely fish for everything,
Mhm.
in our lives. But it's cool spending time with people that are really like hyper niche.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like, like I said, I think this time in the timeline, we're at lunch on the first day, and we're kind of regrouping and talking about like, um,
All the
the
follows and why
after
are they not taken
why, what's going
and
on, like what are we going to do different in the afternoon session, or do we just need to keep moving to find, a
yeah. And
player.
if you have any theories, you're like a total muskie pro, like a Kip Veith or something like that, and you know the answer to why they weren't hitting, or you think you do, info@sofly.ca. Why do you think those muskie weren't hitting that morning? We had 12 follows and no takers. What's with that? Tell us what you think. But that's what we
Hey,
were doing at lunch. We were talking about like maybe it's this, maybe it's that. We just got to find a fish that's willing to play, willing to boogie. And so, maybe it's like as the day warms up, fish will become a little more agreeable, as we come into that evening window. When they do start feeding, really actively feeding for, into the evening, maybe we'll find those takers. The bite window, and I think there's some truth to that because we definitely found it in the evening. Actually, should we get into that story of the wonderful,
yeah.
beautiful bite window for Mr. Kevin, who was one of the fine fellows on the boat there? Kevin and Braden. We get a call. We're fishing.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we do get a call, but we're fishing, and Josh gets an eat.
Yes, Josh had an eat, right?
You
Yes.
know, Josh had an eat. It unfortunately didn't stay buttoned. And
But we're
up until
like,
this
oh,
point, we were
damn.
like, we are talking about, there are bite windows.
Yeah.
You have your major and your minor. Major is
Mhm.
when the moon is
Highest.
high in the sky,
Mhm.
or I guess technically lowest in the sky because it's on the other side of the Earth.
Right. Yeah.
And then the minor is when it's at the horizon. So, I guess you could say 90 degrees or 100 degrees or 360, 270. Those are your majors and your minors.
Yep.
This affects the bite window. And, even Josh was saying on the boat that he didn't really at first didn't believe in that. And he's like, but he started logging his catches
And noticing, yeah.
and noticing that, well, he cross-referenced him with the mood phase, which of course, this is why he's a guide, because he's meticulous in this information gathering.
Mhm.
He noticed that, yes, in fact, they did
There's a
come within
correlation.
half an hour of a major or minor. So
Yeah.
he's like, I do believe in bite windows,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
obviously we were in one because, Josh hooks up. Unfortunately, we don't, land the fish. But, once we're done with that chaos, he checks his phone. He's like,
Mhm.
"God, my phone was buzzing that whole time." And Braden's like, "We're on a fish."
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and they're like, we're on one." So we boogie over, and it is a beautiful fish. It was 41 inches. Beautiful, beautiful muskie. So, yeah, clearly the fish started eating within this, 30-minute, hour-long window. And Kevin had this fish, and we snapped a couple pics of it, and then, it was all smiles, quick, frantic, obviously, get it back in the water, but the fish did a great job of doing that because it, decided to kick off, and it splooshed into the water, took off, and Kevin was so stoked, man. I was so happy for him. Like, he,
It was
he's
his
been
PB.
it's his PB. He's been looking for a fish like that for a couple of years, and bam, like he got it that day. I mean, that's friggin' awesome, dude. Like, what a day with all those follows, and then he gets a 41. Like, and it was fat. It was a fat fish because you could just tell this thing had been like eating minnows and perch and all kinds of stuff all day and whatever all weekend. Beautiful fish, beautiful colors on it. Like, just like it's a great looking muskie. So I was stoked for Kevin. And then spirits were high. We're like, well, damn, like Josh just had that eat. Kevin just got this fish. There's got to be more players. Like, let's go back out and try to find some more. So we fished a bit
At
more.
this point, sorry, it was overcast all
Yeah,
day. Kind of heading into the evening, the clouds did clear.
the sun came out a little bit more golden, a little bit more light.
So golden.
Beautiful. And then this is where I had a nice follow. I believe it was in the evening, right?
You were getting falls all day. I don't know, man.
This one fish, like it's burned in my brain because it was a nice fish. Like, it was like probably high 30s, maybe 40 kind of thing. It was a nice fish. And
A
it
100-incher,
it was a
brother.
100-incher, and it totally, like, I thought this thing was gonna commit because it was the kinda thing where I cast out, stripping, and the strip, the strip technique we were using, like, you could try different things. Just quick jolt, kinda let it rest, couple quick more jolts, let it rest, like, just trying to play the fly, entice a fish to wanna, like, follow, and then, give it moments where it takes a second to think, and then you strip it, it's like, "Well, this is my window to eat." So just imagine that fly underwater and trying to play it, and then, get to the boat, you do the figure eight. When I got it to the boat, I was doing the figure eight, and this fish appeared from under the boat, like, it just kinda, like, came up like a submarine, and I was like, "Oh, that's a nice one," I saw its back was, like, thick back, figure eight, figure eight, figure eight, and boom, it, like, just swims off, and I didn't change my figure eight pattern, like, I'm telling you, this was a figure eight for the books. It was a beautiful figure eight, and the thing didn't want it. It just, like, took off. I was like, "Damn it." But we marked the spot, and we came back a little bit later and tried again, but we didn't find the fish again, but yeah, it was a beautiful fish. Anyways, we didn't lay any more fish that night, but we had a couple more follows, and then we packed up the gear. It was pitch black, riding to the boat launch. We got in the cars and went to Lone Star. Couple of fajitas for the boys. Fajitas for the fellas.
I got T-boned
Yeah.
that night too. Not in the
What-
car.
What happened?
I hooked a fish at like last light. It was like Mitch time.
On a T-bone?
No, well, maybe the fly was a T-bone, but no, like I mean, like the musky T-bone me.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But then it dropped it. Like I didn't. That's another thing I didn't understand about that. I think
Yeah, the eat.
because it was like a pink Buford.
I feel like it hit the tail.
Completely. No, dude. I saw
hit
the
the side?
whole thing. He
So,
T-boned
but
the
the hook
entire
was
fly.
But then how the heck did it not get the hook?
Well, I think we're talking. We're talking about fly design earlier.
How the heck? Yeah.
I think
How in the heck?
if you go back to our old Post Lodge
Yeah.
podcast, and we were
The
talking
hanging hook?
with the hanging hook, and Josh has a bunch of hanging hook flies, and this one just didn't happen.
Can you explain the hanging hook for people that might not be familiar with the style of hookage?
Right. So, normally you tie a fly, you're tying the fly right into the shank of the hook, and they have the bend and the point of the hook coming, pretty close to the material. The theory is on a larger fish like a muskie or a pike, one that, is an ambush predator that does tend to eat sometimes sideways. They don't always follow their quarry in. They'll smash it from the side and then turn. Is that, you don't get great connection because of that turn. Or just how, the way those big fish eat is just like, you'll even if you do everything perfectly, you strip set and all that stuff, you just don't get the connection that you want to get.
Yeah, the hook's a little more autonomous from the fly in this case.
Hanging hooks, you're tying sometimes on a shank or a different system, and then what you do is you're clipping the hook onto the actual shank.
Yeah, so she's just free to swim and float around as she wants.
I mean, it's
very cool.
In theory, it's like, well, I mean, it's what fucking conventional beers. It's what conventional beers. So conventional gears, like they hang hooks.
They also hang like treble hooks.
Sure, but I mean, like they're hanging hooks off the, so it's like
off their baits.
Off their baits. It doesn't have to be a treble. I know. I follow a bunch of YouTubers like Lost Lakes and Xander something or other. Those guys, they take their trebles off and they hang single barbless off.
Hell yeah, they do.
Which is pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
And it works just fine.
Of course.
But the theory is, like you said, like you have the free hook. The chances of it catching, because it's not tied to the body of, it's independent in a way from the body of the fly.
So why? This fish hit sideways, and this system's supposed to be.
I didn't have a hanging hook.
Oh, wasn't it a hanging hook on this one?
No, that was the whole problem. This whole conversation.
Oh, I thought it was a hanging hook, and that's why. I was like, well, what's this hanging hook bullshit?
No, Josh was like, oh yeah, that fly doesn't have hanging hooks.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the problem.
And I was like, oh well, I guess that's a problem.
I mean, I guess. Anyway,
but the thing is like we had like. All that to say is that between the two boats that day, we had 17 follows a
Mhm.
40-inch PB
41.
landed,
Yeah.
and two fish, 2 eats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said, that's a pretty friggin' good day of musky fishing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've heard many people talk about musky days like that. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And then yeah, the next day
Lone Star.
we I went to Lone Star, and I mean, you come on, you can't really beat a beautiful fall day fishing with a good group of fellers, and then you hit up
Some
Lone
sizzling
Star
fajitas,
and you get
baby.
some sizzling fajitas. Oh man, slept good that night. Next day we fished a different river, and it was a tougher day in the sense that we didn't have as many follows. We did get a couple smaller muskers, smaller muskie, very small.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We decided to fish a different river because there's a lot of wind in the
Wind.
forecast, and
Yeah,
a lot of these rivers in Ottawa are big. They're very wide, especially the
yeah.
Ottawa River. The Ottawa River is a mighty bastard, and we didn't fish the Ottawa at all this time. But
It would just been the wind would have just blown us all over the place and would have been a brutal day of fishing and kind
yeah,
of maybe dangerous.
yeah,
So we opted for a different river that would have more coverage, get out of the wind, and still give us a shot at a big muskie. But yeah, beautiful river. It was really cool to explore that one.
super cool. I mean, like Josh had a fish pretty much right away.
Yes, he did. Little guy.
We landed a smaller, 28-inch-ish male.
Yeah,
Um, and then
feisty.
we had another follow right away, and I was like, oh my God, today's going to be crazy, just like yesterday.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, it just kind of wasn't. But the pressure changed big time. And despite the wind,
got warm.
it got hot.
Yeah, it got hot. Like it was like summer.
It was
We're
like
talking end of October.
it was like mid-20s.
It's wacky, man. So
Or
that
like, I guess that'd be low 80s for you Fahrenheit people.
Yeah, no, I will say that it definitely fired up the little males. The bigger female fish weren't seeming all that eager to come out and play.
No.
But the little males were out because we got some follows and Josh got that fish, and then later on in the day I too caught maybe a 25-inch muskie, like a little fish, and then
You
but
hate that fish.
I'm not a big fan of little pike and little muskie. You know what I mean? I'm in the game to catch the beef, brother. Give me something that could eat me. That's what's fun
Totally.
about this. But hey, they're beautiful fish.
But
Don't get
hey,
me
you got a
wrong. They're
muskie.
on. Yeah, they're beautiful. But the end of the day was really cool. I'd say that's probably the most notable part of the day. Because apart from those cows that came out to the river and were watching us, which was really cool, and the crazy winds in some sections of the river, and then sweating through our jackets because it was summer. Weird.
Yeah, that was
The
weird.
end of the day was really cool because we did have a follow from what seemed like a bigger fish, and this was it was like almost dark at this point, and the fish came up and did follow my fly, and did follow on the figure eight, and then sort of just disappeared into the depths. And it was pretty dark, so it was hard to tell when in the process that fish disappeared. But yeah, and I think it might have followed someone else's fly at one point as well, but it just didn't want to party. This fish didn't want to tango. Yeah,
No,
because
but
we were there for quite a while. That little back bay area,
yeah, I really thought
beautiful
we're gonna
spot.
convert one of those follows,
Yeah,
because I thought that might have
you
been
saw
our
some walleye too.
bite
Saw
window.
some walleye following
Yeah, I
the
had some
giant
little
fly.
walleyes following the big flies. They're probably just being like, "Hey, what are you?
Is that
are
a
you
walleye?
friend of mine?"
Yeah, size of the fish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, who are you?
Yeah, all in all, it was a cool weekend. I think that my big takeaway is, like any fishing, especially with muskie, yeah, time on the water. If you put in the time, like that's all it is, and making sure you're, effectively fishing 100%. Like,
Big time.
it's really repetitive in certain ways. Like you're casting out big flies and trying to, just entice a fish, find a fish and entice them. But it's just put the time in. But I will say it's really enjoyable, kind of like swinging flies. What I like about it is that you're outside and you're sort of doing the same thing over and over in a way that you can really enjoy kind of just the space and what you're trying to do. And then when something happens, it's like super exciting. You see a fish in these depths and you're like, oh shit, it just jolts you out of the moment and like really wakes you up. So there's something about this musky thing that I think is really fun, especially that style.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. Yeah, my big takeaway was like, just being on those rivers again
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Big
oh
time.
yeah, it was like a reunion. It was like a
Oh, I
high
mean,
school
that's
reunion.
that's definitely the biggest thing for me too, for sure.
Yeah, but it was neat. Like, I mean, we live in a great, between Southern Ontario and
Yeah.
Eastern Ontario, we live in a great corridor for musky fishing, and whether it's
Mm-hmm.
the Great Lake systems, the St. Lawrence, the Ottawa Valley, you know, the Kawarthas, there's a lot of muskie here,
Yeah.
and so you can do it, and if you look at the Average Ontario Angler podcast, those guys fish from. You don't need a big Princecraft; those guys do it from their canoe,
Yeah. Yeah.
and which is awesome, and
Yeah. As long as you have the right release tools and a good landing
totally
net, and you're like
big
cautious of all
landing,
that stuff, like
big landing net.
yeah, you don't want to risk like hurting or killing a fish being
Certainly not like a
underprepared.
40 to 50 incher. That's an
That can
important fish to
happen.
be in the gene pool.
Yeah, it's just so it's a beautiful fish. So
But I
yeah,
think,
make
yeah,
sure you're responsible.
what I would do next, lessons learned. I think I need to listen to more podcasts or read more books about muskie. I think, like, the Muskie Fool guys, those Schultz guys, Blaine Chocolate, like, the information is definitely out there. I suspect we could be fishing for them differently,
Yeah,
given
maybe.
the way you look at how gear guys fish for them.
What do you mean?
Um, well, I'm just like, like maybe our retrieves could be quicker or slower. We can think
Right.
about hand over hand, maybe
Yeah, for
designing
sure.
flies for that movement. I mean, we're not going to troll. I mean, I guess you could troll flies for them. I don't think anybody wants to. Like, the whole point of fly casting is to cast a fly. But
Yeah.
taking that mentality of like, okay, why do blades and spinners work so well? Well, you're disturbing the water in a certain way. So can we adapt flies to, better? Is that why? Can we be fluttering a game changer through water at like warp speed, and will that convert and eat? These are questions I have in my mind.
Maybe part of the
Like,
magic, of a muskie on a fly is that it is so all the stars align, because of course you could go out with a bait casting rod and throw a big bait and probably have a better success at catching muskie. But like,
but not really that much more. But that's what's cool about muskie. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying like go bait casting. I'm saying like, what can we learn from their
from the
styles?
traditional, retrieves and stuff.
Like, if you look at the game changer, I mean, that was adapted from a fucking crankbait. So like,
Yeah,
how can we? And we all love it. So it's like, how?
it changed the game.
Yeah, not only is it an amazing fly, like, what a great name for a fly. It was like, they
Yeah, for
really
sure.
nailed it with that one.
Well, I
Blaine.
think we're just getting into muskie, so check back in a year when we do another show on muskie and see what we've learned, because I think there's a lot to learn, and I think
Yeah.
it's a really cool fishery,
And I think,
and
fishing for
join
them
us.
in these rivers versus smaller lakes versus Georgian Bay, all are
Yeah,
going to have their nuances for
different
sure.
fish. Yeah, 100%.
And so it's cool to dial, just like, going from a trout river to a trout lake, or stream here or stream there is going to be different. But yeah, I think like you can definitely learn more about these fish and like how they behave and what they eat, because I think in a certain way, fishing for Atlantic salmon, something that's not eating, is
Yeah,
certainly stars aligning. These muskie are eating. We're pretty smart. We can figure them out.
yeah.
Mitch, I believe in us.
I believe
I
in us
believe
too.
in you.
Let's stay tuned, because I'm gonna
What do
land
you
a
think
muskie
is
now.
next for your now that you're all inspired, you're back home, you've got all your
Yeah,
shit. Obviously it's getting to be November, so
yeah, maybe
probably,
one or two more outings potentially,
yeah,
and then it
but
gets
like,
really cold. They're already talking
next.
about snow and shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, well,
Yeah. Next year,
looking
I don't
forward
know.
to those two. Let's say you get it two more times. What are you
Yeah.
going to work on over the next little while?
I'll try the small fly thing. If I get a follow and nothing happens, let me try changing up the fly and see if that entices the fish to take. But stay tuned. Let's see if I can hook another muskie before the season ends. I'm confident I can. And if you don't believe me, well, you can go kick rocks, you son of a bitch. That's it
I have
for
a
me,
question for
Mitch.
you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, do we have
No,
to do
I'm
that?
just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Hit me. Pipe me with it, baby.
We also have to do our outro.
Of course. What's your question?
I just have this nagging thing because of the Ottawapiskat River, and you and I were catching the biggest fish.
Mm.
No, I'm not flexing Gab and Yelma. I'm just saying, you and I were catching the big fish, and we were using fluoro.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a risk with using fluoro. even 100-pound
Mm.
or 80-pound.
Yeah.
There's something in the back of my head saying like the really, really big fish, especially
Yeah.
fish that are pressured, in some of those waters, there are definitely a lot of boats fucking going over these fish.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has to make a difference.
Maybe. It's the only thing that
Instead of
makes
like
me
steel
think.
and fly clips, steel and fly clips, like,
Yeah.
you know?
Maybe the fly clip is the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, it's the thing is like when you get into the 90-pound fluoro, it's so thick. It's like, is it making a difference in the terms of like, it's like a rope, on that fly. Like the visibility of it's still pretty. It's got to be pretty high in the water. Like it's so thick. You know what I mean? So it's like, is it
But
more of
it's
an action thing? Is it more of a the
is
fly
it?
clip is weird. I don't know. I mean, look at the flies. They're so crazy. Like, I got to think that these fish aren't too concerned. But, then we have these follows and no eats. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, that was the only difference on that trip as we were using,
The exact same flies, exact
yeah,
same setups,
except our leader was different.
and
Yeah.
we're all catching the same amount of fish. It's the size of the
Could it be
fish.
that we have the magic touch?
Well, obviously
Just
that's the
that je
case.
ne sais quoi, that moxie that makes the fish want to take?
And obviously, the further you can cast away from the boat,
Yeah. Like,
the
more
longer
time.
that fish gets to see the fly without the boat, and
Well, yeah, and also finding the right depth and all that kind of stuff too helped a lot, because I think there
I
was
just
a
would be interested to know. I mean, like, I probably will not go back to fluoro because it's just a pain in the ass because
yeah.
we're changing flies so many
Try it,
times.
see what happens.
I know, but I just know I'm gonna get just sawed off by like an amazing fish, and I'm just gonna kill myself.
The thing is, like the 90-pound fluoro we're using, we were catching 45-inch pike with huge teeth. Was completely fine. Fish after fish after fish. Like those pike teeth were pretty aggressive. I can't think they're all that dissimilar from a nice musky, like a musky tooth. So I don't know. Like, sure, people are like, yeah, no, they'll rip right through 90-pound fluoro, but I'm like, I don't know, dude. I didn't change my leader. I changed my leader like maybe like once during the Ottawa cat trip. The thing was like friggin' unit. I didn't have to. It was fine, and it never broke once. And I caught like friggin' 100 giant pike that trip. So it's pretty sturdy. Maybe muskie have even sharper teeth. I don't know. You think they do?
Yeah, I don't know. These are the all things. Like now, I'm in like figure it out mode. Before I was like, what is this mode?
Yeah.
That's where my brain's going. That's all I'm saying.
Well, stick with us on the musky adventures of the SoFly crew. We will see what will happen. Follow along. If you're starting to get into musky fishing, you can join us on our Jersey. We'll figure this out together. We're gonna crack them, and we're gonna crack them as a team. But we hope you enjoyed. Talking about this weekend. Thanks to Josh too, and Kevin and Braden for coming out and fishing. It was a fun time going out in the rivers. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, big thanks to Josh, obviously, for letting me crash your house and for taking us out and
scooting
all
us
that
around
good
your boat
stuff. Scooting
all
us
weekend.
around in your big old,
giving us the flies, showing us the spots, giving us the tips. It was great, man. It was super fun. So thank you, sir. Yeah. What else we got going on? How about we talk a little bit about what's to come? Going on fishing soon? You just were fishing, weren't you? Weren't you just fishing for steelhead?
Yeah. What's happening around here, eh? What's happening around here? Well, yeah, Josh and I went out this week. We floated a river. Was my first steelhead float of the year. It
Delicioso.
I mean, it was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
We didn't get. Josh got a fish, lost it. I got a shaker, landed it because it was 12 inches.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. But it was a slow day. Water was very stained, even though it had not rained in a while. So that was kind of weird. And
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we need a lot of rain here. Not gonna lie. It's raining right now, thank God. But
yeah, it's raining.
There's definitely fish around, but I think we're still waiting for the big push. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Definitely looking on Instagram, talking to our friends. People are getting fish.
Yeah.
Certain rivers seem to be doing better than others, but I like, even if you look at
November's the time,
I think November's the time. Like if you're looking
Always
at
the time.
If you're looking at the graphs of certain rivers, it's crazy. Like some are just like a trickle.
Yeah. Yeah. We need the water for sure, but those fish, when they want it, they get it, baby. They'll fly. I've seen them fly. The water's
That's
low.
why they
Just,
call them
that's
Flyers.
what they call them, flyers.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
Are you guys getting like a lot of rain over the weekend? It was raining the whole drive back from Toronto, Ottawa today.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 5 to 10
30th.
mils today down here, and then maybe like 1 to 3 tomorrow ish,
Yeah.
and then we won't get any for a little while after that.
The whole
so,
area needs like 40 millimeters of rain.
we need like a
in a day.
month friggin' soon, brother.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well,
you know,
still
cheese
early.
Louise, Papa Cheese. Yeah, no, it
November-
was a good day
November
though.
could be good.
Josh and I, got
Yeah.
the rising net.
Yeah. This is different
Wet?
Josh. This is not Musky Josh. This is Josh
No,
from
sorry, this is Josh
Southern
on
Ontario.
formerly on the fly.
Yeah.
And I say formerly because he got rid of Instagram.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, which I'm like, Josh, you had over 10,000 followers. What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, man. Get spots. Get some tees. Get some hats, bro. Why did he get rid of Instagram? He just doesn't want to do it anymore.
He's like, whatever. And then,
Brother,
which
amen. I
totally
feel
get.
you. Yeah.
When you're like over 40,
Yeah.
father of 3, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, man.
I just like it for the jokes.
Yeah, the memes for sure. Yeah, Instagram. Instagram's always kind of annoyed me. TikTok too. It's just too much news now. My algorithm's all messed up because I sit on news and.
Oh, don't sit on news, man.
I sit on news, but I'm trying to stop, and now I'm just trying to get back to having.
But I send you the silliest of things.
I know, and it's great. That's really the only reason I have it. It's just like hamsters playing saxophone.
That's what I'm saying.
I know,
Life is about hamsters playing saxophones, brother.
Well, it's got to be, because otherwise we're gonna lose our friggin' minds. You need a little bit of hamster saxophone, and so that's why I still have TikTok. But Instagram, yeah, it's like. I don't know. Instagram's, you know what I like Instagram for? Just keeping in touch with people and, using it as a texting device and stuff like that.
Yeah,
otherwise I'm like,
yeah, it's fine. As long
I
as you
open
don't
it and
pay-
I'm always like, God, I don't know.
Oh, God.
And then I open TikTok and I'm like,
Oh my
God.
God.
But then I see the hamster saxophone and I'm right back in. So.
I'm right back in.
Well,
The
Josh,
hamsters.
Josh is a fine fellow, and I'm sure you guys are going to have a great Steelhead season together.
I think so, yeah.
Um,
I'm really looking forward to it. That's
Yeah.
one thing that, I increasingly
Yeah.
look forward to every year. Like every year I look forward to it even more. Like it's crazy that I'm like, I don't even catch anything, as if I'm expecting to catch something. Whereas like when my steelhead career started, I was like, wow, if I ever catch one of these things.
Yeah.
It's funny how your perspective changes, but
As you get older and you experience the joys of life.
I gotta, you have to remember where you came from, which was catching fuck all.
Totally, yeah.
For a long time, so
Totally.
yeah, we were talking about that actually on the boat. We were like, he's like, what's going on? I was like, well, lots of stuff, but also remember when like we never caught these things?
Yeah.
And now we just like catch them all the time.
Mhm.
He's like, right. And we were like talking about,
You still
how
have days where,
perspectives shift. For sure.
it's
for sure.
so true. When you start fly fishing, you're like, it's funny because it's like, oh, I got the fly and it's on the line. Why the hell, it's in the water, but it's like, well,
Excuse
a little more
me.
nuanced than that, And I think, once you figure it out and once you unlock it, it's like, oh, there's a funny moment there too, though, where once you unlock it, you're like, oh, this isn't really that crazy, It's like, oh, it just had to do this thing, not that thing. You know what I mean? It's like these flies,
Yeah, that's what I'm
This
talking about with
system.
muskie. Like, I feel like they're always going to be a fish that you don't catch often, like even with gear. But I feel like
maybe everybody's using the same flies. Maybe someone needs to throw a shrimp. Maybe that'll do it. How do we know? No one's
this
done
whole
it.
time. This whole time they just have been eating plankton.
Dude, they just want like a size 12 clouser. Every cast. But no one's done it before.
Oh my God! Oh,
Maybe that's my
God.
next year, is trying every single fly and technique. I'm like Euro nymphing from a boat. I'm like, this isn't it. It's not gonna know. It's not the one.
This
Stay
was not the
tuned.
one, guys.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But yeah, that's what's going on. I
Um,
think steelhead season's ramping up.
Yep.
We're recording this on the 30th of October. I'm moving tomorrow.
Have a good move,
Atis
man.
and I have all these. Thank you. All these plans for.
Yeah.
Fly tying area in the basement and our shared space.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the fall.
In the winter.
And the winter.
Enjoy the new apartment.
Yeah. What did you leave for me? Did you leave me a strawberry pie?
Nah, I was going to, but I just ran out of time.
That's okay, man.
I'll get you back. I'll do something
No,
nice for
it's
you
fine,
sometime.
it's fine.
I was gonna leave you a bottle of wine, but I just
I'm just gonna
lost
miss you,
it.
man.
I miss you too, man. I'll see you soon again.
It doesn't change anything
And,
with the podcast, everybody.
No, and we'll still fish. I'll come fish. You'll come fish. We'll still fish. And yeah, but enjoy that apartment. It was my sweet, sweet home for just over 5 wonderful years. And I hope you really like it. Good luck with the move. Moving sucks. Fucking brutal. And you go fishing to relax after. At least you got movers coming. That's key.
That's true. Oh, actually, sorry, I will mention
Yeah.
something. Mitchell Roberts is going to be in town next week,
Oh.
and Idis, Mitchell, and I are going fishing, so that'll be really fun.
Wow, splendid. You taking out the raft?
Yeah.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, say hi to Mitchell. And,
I will.
I
Yeah,
hope
so
you
that's
guys,
going to be really fun. Looking forward to that. Big time.
I hope you all get into some fish. That'd be awesome.
Oh, me too. But it'll be fun because, Mitchell loves swinging flies, Idis loves swinging flies, and I like rowing a boat, so so that'll be fun. I'll be interested to see Mitchell because they're such a talented tire.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think they're going to be swinging and Idis is going to be swinging? Or do you think,
yeah, like
are you all going to be putting on eggs and squirmies and just
no, they're
nymphing?
not on the Aldo program. They're not
Couple
on the
hours
bacon and
in.
egg program, is all I'm saying. But I'm
Bacon
interested to
and
see
egg.
what flies Mitchell's tied for this because
Yeah,
I'm sure
Mitchell's
they're
amazing
beautiful.
tire. Mitchell's amazing tire. Got a couple of Mitchell's flies. They're awesome. I want to swing them. I want to get for steelhead too. I'd love to go upstate New York. We'll see.
New York,
We'll see.
concrete.
Because that's my thing now. I'm only a couple hours from there. We'll see. We'll see what's going on this November. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll go down and swing something. Maybe I'll go down and spend a weekend in, Southern Ontario. Go swing some flies. If we get a lot of rain, we'll see. I'm not going to be doing.
Or I'll meet you, or we can meet each other halfway in Pulaski. What if we kissed?
we might be doing that no matter what, right? Because we might have to do a little something.
I would love to do that.
I think we will.
And David's there now, and Peyton. We could make it a whole thing.
Everybody just can descend on Pulaski, and we'll go fish with all the other peeps.
Pulaskites.
Okay, thank you everybody for listening to the show. We hope that you took away some fun, and even if you didn't learn something about fishing, maybe you had a good time listening to it. And that's really what the podcast is all about. If you don't like it, you can kick the friggin' road, bitch. I don't give a shit. I don't even care if you don't.
Fuck you. Go Blue Jays.
Just freak out. Go Blue Jays. Enjoy hopefully they won last night. Because this is the first. But anyways, happy Halloween. We love you. See you later. That's it for me, Mitch Aldo.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Take care.
Comb your hair.